First thing that I'm gonna do, once I take it out of here, you can see the vegetables. Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Check it out. Check it.
Hi, Radix fam, how's it going? I am making some bone broth today, so I figured I'd share with you all my secrets for awesome bone broth. I use my Instant Pot. So what we have here is a pound of buffalo bones. From True Local. You can just order them in your meat box and get them delivered every month or however often you get it. And also chicken feet, because I have friends with farms. Thank you, Maria. She gave me 5 pounds of chicken feet. So they make for really jelly bone broth. So you can see a big difference. So, but the first thing I'm gonna do is just soak these bones in salted water. They're frozen right now, so that'll help to frost it. You wanna use at least 1, if not 2 tablespoons. And you can see I actually don't have a ton of bones in here, because it makes such a strong gelatinous broth that Dan goes through it so fast that it drives me bananas. So this way it can be like a little bit waterier. You can save some, it'll be a little bit waterier. You can save some money. And so this will make 4 liters of bone broth, which if you're us will last you a week. But I mean, like if you're buying your bone broth at the store, it's like $10 a liter. But this was $10 for a pound of bones, you know? So you're getting 4 times your money worth if you can make your own bone broth. So what this does is it just soaks all the blood out of the bones to make a really, really pure and clear broth. So you just need to cover it and you let it sit for 12 to 24 hours, changing the water once if you're doing it 12 hours, twice if you're doing it 24 hours. So I'm just gonna leave that there in my Instant Pot, let it defrost, let it soak through with the salt, and then I'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, what's up? We're back. It's been 12 hours, and I'm gonna check on my bones and feet that have been soaking in the Instant Pot. See how there's just kind of some blood in the water there? We just want to get rid of that. So that's why we're doing this soaking, to kind of rinse out all the blood from the bones. Now is the time that you can go and roast them if you want. So you can see I got some nice marrow bones here. So if you roast them, then you can get the marrow out of them. Delicious. So we're just going to pretend that I'm roasting them. So I can show you guys what we're doing for this next step. So I've rinsed off all the blood from these bones. A couple tablespoons of salt for the broth. Dan likes his broth really salty. And we also want to put some apple cider vinegar in here. So we want to use a 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar for these 4 liters of broth. That's going to give it a nice tangy, vinegary flavor. Dan loves his broth. Tangy, vinegary flavor. And let's get this filling all the way up to the 4-liter mark. We're going to put it in the Instant Pot.
What else does the vinegar do?
Oh, it helps bring all the calcium and trace minerals out of the bones as well.
I think that's the major point, besides the fact that I like the taste of it.
Yes, that's the most important part. That's the real reason why we do it. So that's the reason why we're actually going to let this sit for 2 hours in the Instant Pot before we actually turn it on. So mine has a timer. Again, it's just been sitting and soaking to get the blood out of the bones. Now it's going to sit and soak and get all the calcium and trace minerals out from the acid from the vinegar. This is also the time that you can add in if you have some kitchen scraps. I saved kitchen scraps in the freezer. So this is onion, carrot, celery, some sort of bone in here. Onion, carrot, celery scraps. So I'll throw them in there with the broth to give some extra flavor, extra minerals. I'm going to set up the Instant Pot. So it's going to be 20 minutes. But I'm also going to set the timer. So it doesn't need to delay for 6 hours. We'll just delay it for 2 hours. So there we go. It's going to delay for 2 hours so the vinegar can leach all the minerals out of the bones. And then it's going to be under pressure for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to leave it on a slow cook overnight. So this keeps it warm for 10 hours. So that'll give us a really nice, nutritious, and flavorful bone broth for a fraction of the price that you would pay for it if you have to buy it from the store. Back. So our broth has been in the Instant Pot on pressure for 20 minutes and then just slow cooking for 10 hours after that. First thing that I'm going to do, once I take it out of here, you can see the vegetables. Oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Oh yeah.
So first thing I'm going to do is run it through a big strainer to get all these big chunks of vegetables out of here. Look at that golden broth. We want to get the bones out of the way here. Chicken feet. Nice marrow bones there. Once we've got all the big chunkies out of the way, we can start to really strain it. Once for the big chunkies. And then you also want to pour it through a fine sieve, like my gravy strainer here. I always like to do a pre-strain first, just to make sure that the gravy strainer doesn't get all clogged up, because it does still take some time to go through. Especially you got all these beautiful golden fat droplets on here. So once this is all strained through, I'm going to use it to fill up my mason jars. Like I said, this will make 4 liters, so 4 of these jars. You just want to make sure that you cool them at room temperature before you put them in the fridge or in the freezer. And if you're putting a lid on it, when you put it in the freezer, keep the lid loose because it is going to expand when you fill it up. I'm just going to try to get this through here a little bit faster. There we go. So nice fine strainer to run it through. The nice thing about using a gravy strainer for this is that it's low on the spill factor, but also the fat is going to collect at the top. There's a little bit of fat from the bones, not a ton, but this way you can keep it out of your broth if you like. So once you've done all 4 jars of the broth, you'll have a good chunk of fat left over at the top. And I just pop it in the fridge and use it to cook with. If you need a little bit of delicious, homemade, healthy fats for roasting vegetables, is my favorite thing to do it with. So there you go. You only want to fill this up to the start of the neck. There, let it come to room temperature if it's still hot before you put it in the freezer so it doesn't expand and explode. And there you go. Enjoy your broth. 4 jars for $10.
Check it out. Check it. 1, 2. Check 1, 2. Check it out. Check it. 1, 2. Check it out.